Hello, my name is Cameron. I'm an elementary education major with an emphasis in English, and I'm going to be running you through a running record that I would use in my future classroom and why. So the first question is, how would I plan to implement a running record in my future classroom? So for an example, I use an example from the book called The Teaching of Reading and Language Arts by Joyce Bowling. And it has a bunch of different columns. The first says letter, so the letter that they will be writing is an uppercase letter and a lowercase letter. And it's the second column, which is identifies in print. So if they use a slash, that means they wrote it correctly and they wrote it very well. If it's an X, that means they did it incorrectly, and next to it, it will give you kind of a short explanation as to why. This next column is the sounds. If they sounded out the letter correctly, again, if it is a dash, that means they did it correctly. If it is an X, like for example for this one, they used a soft C instead of a hard C. And then there are examples right here at the other side that says apple if students gives a word that does not begin with the letter A, record with an X in the word they stated. And then the X equals student wrote a B for a D. Basically just kind of like what you're going by. The second question is, what do you hope to accomplish or achieve with this running record? With this specific running record, it not only tells you, like, it's not broad, it's so specific. Like for example, the B right here has an X right next to it, basically showing you specifically what letter they messed up and why. And the identifies in print column right here, it shows that they mistaken a B for a D, so they wrote a D instead of a B. They identified it wrong in print. But however, they sounded it perfectly. The sound was okay, but when they were identifying it, it was wrong. So it's so specific that it shows you directly what they messed up on, so that you can use this specifically in your instruction. Another thing that it showed you specifically was when they were writing out their C and they were sounding it out, they wrote it correctly, but they used a soft C instead of a hard C. This is another specific thing that you can use with this running record to make instruction for that individual student, leading to differentiation. The last question would be, how will this running record help you better understand your student as a reader? So as a reader, that column that says identifies in print, that's identifying it as they read it, or even as they sound it out. So not only are we getting them to identify it in front of us, but we're getting them to sound it out in front of us, so we can physically see as a teacher individually, so we can understand them more as a reader. I really liked this example because I felt like it was simple, to the point, and very easy to read, and I'm so excited to be able to use this in my future teaching practices so that I can use differentiation in my classroom. Thank you.